Okay, and we're back. This is the third video that I'm going to be doing today. This as well is on a new, I guess, tip, tactic, hint, cool thing, trick. Let's use the word trick. A trick that I learned recently. I'm sure it's old hat for a lot of really experienced GMs on Roll20, but this was new for me, and I think it'll be very nice for actually in session for the actual GMing sessions, from the actual game sessions. It does involve a little bit more work, but not a significantly larger amount, and it is much more useful because it will prevent me from hopefully flipping back and opening my adventure document, be that on a PDF, on a separate PDF, physical paper, or that the handout that I usually prepare for my games. Now, if you're looking here, we are back in old stomping grounds. We're back in the city of Zinjalast, our very successful, very fun Rise of the Rune Lords campaign. And this is a map of Zinjalast Lower City. So, spoilers if you are going to be playing this. This is, well, spoiler. Uh, but what is of more use to us here is, and let's zoom in, is this info token. So what this info token is, it is a token that I have created, and it has a whole bunch of cool information on it. If you notice that it's got a bunch of token macros, and those token macros will give descriptive text. And in fact, what you notice here is that it's actually giving the text that you can see next to here. What I did originally was I had all of this information listed just on the just on probably the map layer. Yeah, it was just on the map layer, right? Just on the map layer. Um, but you know that's just a lot of stuff here, and it kind of ruins the aesthetics of the map. And if you didn't want to have this kind of stuff here, either here or let's say on the GM layer, where of course the players wouldn't be able to see it, but you just sort of see all this kind of like info diarrhea all over the place. Um, you can put all that information here. So you notice that I've got the ancient texts refer to this as the Heptaric Locus, a giant colosseum. It was the focal point of the city. Sure, that's some information that maybe that they pick up from some NPCs. And if they press the NPCs a little bit further, they might hear that there's some creature here that's worse than the hidden beast, right? Um, we might have some secret information that's only whispered to you, so of course nobody can see it. The players can see all of that descriptive chat. Um, but they can't see, of course, the GM whispers, and no role is needed for description 2, although the spirit will only mention it if the PCs indicate that they wish to investigate it. So how do we make this? I'm sure by now you know how to make a token, how to create a token, um, how to assign a character sheet to it. Assign a character sheet to it. None of this stuff really matters except for the abilities page. How to assign a character sheet, how to create these macros um, and that show up as actual token actions so that they're not sitting there cluttering the bottom of your macro bar. Um, so assuming you know how to do all of that. If not, I think I may have a video about that. If not, there are plenty of other sources that'll show you how to do all that. No, instead what I'm going to do is show you how to actually make this token so that it is invisible. Players can't see this. Uh, it's invisible. Players can't see this. Um, players can't see this. Only you can see it, and it doesn't leave all of this junk all over the place. The wonderful part about this is that you can actually use this. Think of an old adventuring game on a computer where you could go to an item and then click on it, and you might see some extra information about that by interacting with it. Similar kind of concept here. Uh, nobody can see this except you as the GM, but you can click on it, and then you can hit those buttons, and it'll kind of automate some of the processes, um, while you GM. All right, so what is it? First thing is that this is a transparent PNG. It is a transparent 70 by 70 pixel PNG, um, PNG, and And yeah, and that's the token, and it's colored by a aura. There you go. It took a while. That's an aura. It is, I put it at 0.01, so the only thing that it shows up is on the middle, is inside. It doesn't emit light, it doesn't do anything like that. It's just, just got a little aura. If I do anything else, it'll actually start spreading out beyond the square itself. So 0.1, yeah, just a little bit. I'm sure you could even do something like minus. I don't know exactly how that stuff works. I've got it showing my nameplate, but if you go to advanced, you see that none of the players get to see any of this stuff, right? Most important is that they don't see the aura or the name. So at least I know that it's there. That info token is there. All right. I could even just technically get rid of the info token if I wanted to, seeing as I know what they are. Um, and there you go. Right, it's gone. Could do that. Could do that too. Make it even cleaner. Uh, so um, what I'm actually going to do is um, what I'm actually going to do here is uh, show you how to make that invisible token as well. All right, but before we do anything, how is that information being put out? Where's it pulling that information from? Where's that where is this? Where's this coming from? Well, you probably got to look at it just a moment ago. But when I click on it, you notice that I've got some words in the bar 1 section. That's the entire thing. Now, this is maybe one of the downsides to this, is that you cannot, that it is number one, automatically centered. Centered, you can see that, right? It's centered. And number two, there's no formatting that's possible here. You can't make multiple paragraphs. If you do, you have to basically separate them out between these different bars. And I don't think you can bold anything. Let's see. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if the standard bolding tactics work. So this uses the Markdown language, so bolding would be double asterisks. Let's see what happens. Nope. So no formatting whatsoever. It's just going to be like straight text. So this is probably not a good idea for really, really long texts. You might want to consider breaking that up and then just hitting the buttons as they come along, um, like that. Might be a little bit easier. So that is one of the downsides to this, but that's all you're doing. You're putting in, oops, you're putting in that information right there. Hopefully you don't have to type it out because it'd be like typing out a text where you can only see like that one word at a time. So, you got to make sure that you're not making mistakes. Otherwise, just type it out beforehand and then copy paste it into there. It'll accept that kind of thing too. And of course, you can do each one of these fields can be called upon separately. This will be bar 1. This is bar 1 max. This is bar 2 max, bar 3 max, so on and so forth. Um, so, and that's how you put that in. The macros themselves, which the actual macros I'll leave in, I'll put down in the comments section below. But just to get a quick look at them, it's this /desc, which basically puts it in like read aloud text or flavor text that you might see in a published adventure, and then just uh, uh, the um, the attribute for that, right, which is at squiggly bracket selected vertical bar 1, and then you close that off. For the bar 1 max, it's the same thing except after bar 1 you're going to put another vertical line and the word max. Same thing with 3 and 4, so this just basically gives me 4 places where I can write descriptions down. You could change this to do whatever you want to do. You could say that rather than descriptions, this might be extra info 2, right? Info 1. Right, we might even just call it extra info 1. So it's not descriptive text, so you don't want it to show up like this. You want it to show up you want it to show up just as sort of like stuff that you said. In other words, it's not that narrator voice, as it were, reading that out to you. This is just you telling them stuff, right? And you wanted to double check. So we can do something like that. And then, of course, we have our secret info. Let's take a look here. That's just /whisper to the GM only, and then otherwise it's exactly the same. Bar 3 max, bar 2 max. So however you decide to use these, it really doesn't matter as long as you're using some combination here. We might just have it like this, right? just like that. Right. And that's it. Let's test that out real quick. Let's see if that. This is bar 1, this is bar 2, bar 3. This is extra info 1, right? According to that last thing, we'll call it. You know, this is. Oops. This is where some extra info goes, or something like that. Maybe even something like the heptaric locus stands about 500 feet at its apex. Something like that. There's some extra information. Oops. Apex. All right, let's save that. Oh, description. Oh, weird. Interesting. It actually just shows that as that descriptive text. So maybe we don't even need that /desk anymore. That is new to me. Again, this is all stuff I've learned rather than things that I've obviously figured out for myself. So I'm still learning how this information works. All right, don't worry. These macros once again will all be listed to you. I wonder if I do this /me/me. Let's try that. Right, there you go. So we can see that that's now as said by me rather than just sort of descriptive text. Okay, so good thing to know. All right, so how do we make this? So we'll head over to our trusty GIMP. So here we are in our GIMP. This is how to make a transparent 70 by 70 token. We're gonna create a new thing, and we're just gonna make it 70 by 70. Why 70 by 70? That's because that is the for most of the time that is what your pixels are going to be. All right, open, and here we have it. We're gonna go to our layers section, and we're gonna right click, and we're gonna add a layer mask, white full opacity. All right, so that means that when it's white, it means that it's fully opaque. If it's, I guess, black, it's fully transparent. I'm not really sure how this stuff works. I'm not a pro. I just kind of learned how to do it. And all we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we've chosen the layer mask here on this background, and we're just going to fill it with black. And look at that. When we see that checkerboard pattern, we know that it is transparent. And that's it. Super simple. Just sit there and export it. Export it as a PNG. Put it wherever you want, and you are done. And you can bring that in. So that is really it. We don't really need to worry about any of that. That's it. That's all you need to do. And this is a really, really useful little token for us, for us GMs, to just be able to get all that info out into the chat box, right? We all know that some people are good at just listening, and they can listen and absorb information. Some people are not, right? And they are more visual learners, or need some text in front of them to sort of back up or confirm the things they've heard, right? We have all sorts of people who learn in many different ways. Oh, before I finish, let's talk about what are the standard settings here. So if you're going to make this token, before you do anything, so let's drop in a new one. Okay, it's a new info token. Some settings that I suggest that you do before. So when you initially create this token, you are of course going to make sure that it represents the info token. Right? Whether you decide to show the nameplate or not, that's up to you. Okay. Let's say that we're not going to show the nameplate, and you're going to assign the aura to 0.1, and then you're going to make sure that nothing can be seen. Now, by default, that should be set to that nobody can see anything, but just in case. Now, if you've got like your campaign settings are different, you'll need to make sure that all that is unchecked. Let's go back to basics. There you go. That was weird. All right, so once again, aura represents token, save. All right. Make sure you can see the token. Make sure you know where the token's at. Dropping that in initially and then trying to find an invisible token is tough, so make sure that you know where you dropped it. And drop it on the object layer. Now you can put this in other places as well. I suppose you could try to put that in the GM over layer, but the goal here is to save us time without having to flip flip layers, right? So just drop it on your object layer. Why not, right? All right. And then, of course, go to your info token, edit, and then make sure with it selected, that is your default token. Let's remove it. Let's do it. Use selected token, right? And so now every single info token you drop will be ready for you to go. And all you need to do is double click on it and put in your bar 1, bar 2, bar 3 information, everything you want. Okay, that's basically it. So thank you guys. Once again, as always, if there's anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. And I am more than happy to create a video.